Small business is about courage, risk-taking, independence, and we small business owners are survivors. Everybody has an idea for a business, but how do you take that idea from mind to market? This is the place to learn.
Small Business School with Hattie Bryant.
It's a new kind of school. Together we'll learn about business from the inside out, from the people who've done it. We'll meet the men and women who are today's pioneers and quiet heroes. Their lives are the textbooks. Our classroom is the world.
Small Business School is made possible by support from IBM. We're not just for big business anymore. At our website, discover how technology can move your business forward. When it's your business, everything matters. IBM. And the United States Postal Service, delivering the promise to America's 23 million small and growing businesses. There's no wait at the post office in your own office. USPS.com is waiting for you.
Hi, I'm Hattie Bryant. Since 1994, we've been encouraging you to go global because so many already see the entire world as our marketplace. The SBA says that over 90% of all U.S. exporters are small business owners. Now meet the team at Automated Food Systems, a small business with a global market share. As American as apple pie, the Corndog has won hearts all over the world because of this machine. Since its introduction at the State Fair of Texas in Dallas in 1938, the Corndog has become a favorite American fast food.
That's a great corndog.
They saw this guy making cornbread in an iron skillet on a little street stove, you know, and he was mixing into the cornbread. He would put these sausages in there, the wieners. And so they thought, you know, if they're on a stick, then we can just fry them real quick in about, you know, no more than 2 to 3 minutes, and we can serve them right like that, and that'll be a lot faster.
So you're saying in 1938, the very first corn dog was served at the Texas State Fair?
That is the legend in Texas.
This is the way a good corn dog starts. You start with a high-quality sausage impaled upon a stick. Then you batter it, and you evenly coat it. Notice the vibrations makes that corn dog batter just come right down and evenly coat. And then gravity works that batter right in there so you get a nice even coating.
So now this is my...
There's your first real good one.
Fresh, not frozen.
Fresh, not frozen.
Hot.
With mustard.
Oh, I like oh, it's wonderful.
Well, we're looking at a corndog fryer, and this is the beginning of the process.
Automated Food Systems has fully mechanized corn dog production, and since its first machine was built, the corn dog market has grown 25% annually.
It picks up 26 sticks and 26 sausages and indexes them across in approximately 2 seconds. Wow. And then the sticker apparatus pushes that stick through the stick holder bar into the sausage that's clamped on the other side.
When he lost his job, he had to make a living for his family. Glenn Walzer invented the first automated corn dog machine in 1976. Today, the company he and his wife Wanda own, Automated Food Systems, builds the machines that produce 95% of the some 2.5 billion corn dogs consumed in the U.S. The machines are owned and operated by large food processors such as State Fair and Jimmy Dean.
A friend of mine that I had done business with before found out that I'd been fired and asked me what I was going to do. And I said, oh, I don't know. He says, have you ever thought about starting your own business? And I said, well, yes, but I don't have any money. He says, well, that's all right. You have engineering expertise, and I'm willing to trust you and back you.
Wow. So you had a friend that put the capital up at the beginning.
It's a small amount, just enough to get started. My previous employment was with La Hacienda Mexican Foods in Lubbock, making taco shell fryers, which was a revolutionary machine in the early 70s. A fellow in the corndog business from Abernathy, Texas, had visited the plant and saw what we'd done with the taco shell machine, and he said, we really need something like that in the corndog business. I'd prayed to the Lord. I said, Lord, you know my situation. You just give me something to do to make money for my family, and I'll glorify you forever. And I guess he was listening, because I went to Abernathy and saw how they were making corn dogs manually, and journeyed from Abernathy back to Lubbock. While I was driving, this vision came through my head of how mechanically I could do this at a much faster rate using less employees. And I said, thank you, Lord, give me some money. And he did through this friend of mine, and we started.
And when he got through and built the proto model, he said, praise the Lord, it makes 400 dozen an hour. And he knew it was a go.
He broke through. He knew he had a breakthrough.
He knew it was an answer. It was an answer for the industry.
If you just think of 26 every 5 seconds, you multiply 26 by 12, that's 12 bars a minute, times 60, you wind up with a little over 16,000 corn dogs an hour. Everything on this fryer is almost scientifically developed over the last 20 years, so that it makes it very easy for my customer to make a very consistent, high-quality product. All of engineering is just a study of relationships and analysis of cause and effect. So on the corn dog machine, the heart of the machine is in the batter coating process. And instead of moving the corn dog down into the batter, I moved the batter to the corn dog. Then as the batter tank goes back down, the excess batter will drain off, and then the gear rack will hit this chain, and it will just rotate just like a high jumper right over into the oil. And then it's a process of this cooking for 20 feet as it travels down the fry tank.
You've built these huge machines, and there has to be a lot of dollars invested there. Do your customers do some upfront cash down payments, whatever, to get you the cash you need to build the machine before you can deliver it to collect it? There's a gap between the order and the collection.
Yes, we require a sizable deposit, something like in the order of 40 to 45%, because these are very specialized machines.
Do you think some of us as small business owners underprice or undervalue ourselves? We underprice or don't charge enough because we don't realize how much it really does cost to run a business?
Well, I have a philosophy about my business. If you do not know your cost, you're going broke. So it's inherently, that's one of the first things I do. Whenever I create a design, I cost it out. Right. So I know how much I estimate the cost of how much it's going to cost me to either purchase it or manufacture it in our shop. And that goes into a spreadsheet that we know our cost at all times, even of a new product. So it's very necessary to know your cost and keep accurate records. Don't borrow money that you really don't need. Don't spend money on something that you're not going to use. Make intelligent decisions about what you do purchase and what you commit for. Analyze really what you need. Buy what you need. Don't buy the cheapest. Buy something that's quality, that'll last you for a long time. If you buy something that's cheap, one of two things are going to happen. It's not going to serve what you bought it for, and you'll have to buy something else, and you've paid double for it. Or it will leave you stranded when you need something the most. A good businessman never lives entirely upon past history. He lives upon the prospects of the future, and what the insight that he can see developing in the marketplace, and he has to be aware of everything around him to see what the other population is doing. If he has competition, what the competition is doing, what the market really needs, what customers are asking for. Only if you are totally aware, and no one can be totally aware, but if you are open to what people want, you can serve them. One of our early slogans was one of God's servants, serving our customers. And, you know, to be a servant is taboo in our society today. But if you want to be a success, you have to be willing to be a servant, because you have to serve that customer whether you like it or not. You have to provide what he wants, not what you want to give him, but what he wants. That's the secret of success. Something that's inherent about our design of machinery is you notice it's fried vertically. Okay, whenever the batter is cooking and frying, you notice that the water vapor is escaping uniformly from a product around its surface. This provides a barrier against the oil penetrating into the corn dog batter. So you wind up with a batter that is no more than 5% oil.
Small machines like this make it easy to find the fresh product we tasted at sports events, picnics, racetracks, beach parties, and anywhere hungry crowds gather. It's this small machine that has helped the company expand all over the world. With 9 employees, this Duncanville, Texas-based business has a global reach.
We knew that if we were going to really do this, we'd have to make small machines, and we would need to sell to small business people who would in turn use this equipment to present this product, this food product, to people so that they would know about it.
Okay.
And once they liked it, then they would look for it in the supermarkets.
Which would drive demand for the big guys to buy the big machines.
That's right.
Is it working?
It is working. We still have a long way to go, but it is working. In the European countries where sausages are so much loved and enjoyed, they've been making corn dogs with a number of different types of sausages that you probably would not recognize over here because they're not the traditional American wiener.
Right.
And it's really wonderful to see them because with all of those different tastes, for instance, I tasted some in Switzerland at one point that were made with a very piquant sausage, and it was actually a sausage, and it was wonderful. And it's a whole new thing. So we just have gotten in the habit of saying sausage because that's
So
what
is the world improving on your original idea here?
You mean on the corn dog?
Yeah.
Well, I think every country has its own taste, and that's what makes it so nice and so such a good commodity for international markets is because it can adapt itself to the taste of the locale, if you will. They're in Egypt, they're in Europe, they're in Brazil. What we do, we work with distributors primarily. Now, that's not to say that we haven't sold equipment to big corporations or companies who are going to use this machine in other countries. We have. But what we have found is that our goal is to make the product itself known before we try to sell the big equipment. We know that most people will like it if it's done right because they eat sausage and bread every day in some form. All around the world, the U.S. Department of Commerce has at various large trade fairs a U.S. pavilion. And we went into our stand in the U.S. pavilion along with several other American companies who wanted to try this venue but who didn't want to spend a lot of money on it. And it was quite economical. We shared space, very well done. They've done an excellent job with the trade fairs around the world. The Department of Commerce, the American Pavilion, and these great trade fairs. So that was our very first foreign trade fair, and it was in Poznan, Poland, which is the largest agricultural fair, or was at that time, in Europe. And so we had at one point in our little stand in Poznan a line from the machine all the way out around the building, people waiting to get a taste of this food.
if you create a product that other people just absolutely cannot do without, that's the secret to success. And I've always looked at what we have done. And what we really did is we did something that no one else could do or had done before. And we did it better than anybody else could do it.
Okay.
And we still are doing that today.
The corn dog machine is a niche, and Wanda and Glenn have stayed in it without veering off course since 1976. In our fast-paced world, food on a stick items look like they'll have a growing future, and these two will be right in the middle of it because they've built a strong business by being nearly the only company in the world building machines, large and small, that automate the corn dog making process. Total commitment to this one thing is the reason Wanda and Glenn are prosperous today. They say, find your niche and stick to it. The business community loves our show. One owner says, you're motivating, informative, and inspiring. Another calls us insightful. One says, it does my soul good. Another thinks we are the true reality show. And we're called the best business educational show on television. Want to learn more? Join the thousands of small business owners who are making a difference and add your voice to our story. Visit us online at smallbusinessschool.org.
You have to build a business upon principles. You have, first off, I think a lot of our success has been because we pay attention to details. We paid attention to design details. We pay attention to financial details. We pay attention to employees. I think one of the most valuable assets that we have as a company is not necessarily our ideas, but how we treat our employees.
Okay, what do you think you do that others don't do? Or what are you doing that you think we could learn from?
We respect our employees as human beings. They perform a service for us, and we could be very cold and just pay them with a paycheck. But they're like family to us. Every one of our employees have special gifts, and we try to use those gifts in the areas that they feel most comfortable in working. Jim is a machinist with us. He's a welder. He's an installer. He is really developing into all phases. Now Charles, he is very good in sheet metal bending and forming and fabricating. And John, I couldn't ask for a more easygoing fella to do any job we ask him to do. Robert is a star. He can do anything that I can do, and probably better and faster. And then we have Tina, which does all of our accounting. Anything from answering the phone, taking parts orders, shipping parts out to customers. Then we have Shannon, which is our most recent employee. She's our receptionist and does a lot of the parts, taking of parts orders and the shipping. And then we have Gwen Collins that started out as a receptionist a couple of years ago, I guess. I inquired, did she have any interest in learning mechanical desktop for design? And she jumped at the chance, and within 2 months, she was a proficient AutoCAD and mechanical desktop user, and she can scream when she gets on the computer with a speed far faster than I can. And very soon we realize what each employee likes to do and what he is happiest doing, and we try to use him in those jobs.
I've been here full-time half the time, but let me tell you something about a family business. If your family has a business, it doesn't matter whether you're working there every day or not, you're working there and you're with it 24 hours a day. And you eat, sleep, drink, and live it just like whoever is over there does.
Right.
And you worry about it and you wonder about it. And so if you have a family business, you're never separate from that business. even if you're not over there all day. So when I came over here, it was with the understanding that if we could not get along, if that was too much, then I wouldn't be here.
Is the wall between the two of you, between the office that the two of you have, is that wall a big enough wall?
Not if either of us wants to scream. I think it's a very good arrangement, but I think it takes certain personalities, and I think you have to be prepared for fireworks, and I think you have to try to understand that those things are going to happen. And that certainly there has to be some hierarchy of responsibility and command, as it were, but truly, as one of our friends in Australia once said, if one of you has to be right all of the time and the other one always has to be wrong, then one of you is redundant. In other words, you need to give and take, you know. You both have to, sometimes one's going to be right, sometimes the other one is. And if you can't get on with that, then one of you's not needed. We're satisfied that we're moving in the right direction.
You're growing.
We're growing. And this year, we will be introducing a couple of new niche lines which have nothing to do with corn dogs.
You're kidding. And you're not going to tell us what it is?
No.
The future holds shish kebabs. It holds stick inserters into all kinds of food articles that are going to really change the way Americans eat, because food on a stick is so clean and so good and so quick. It has all the attributes of what people walking around, busy, fast, need. And that's our market. We don't really sell our machinery to a corporation that's a food plant. We sell it to the people that are eating their product. We've got large corporations in America, and we've got small business. The small businesses are like ants up beside the lumbering giants, but the ants move mountains. And ants can do much more than the lumbering giant. I've only just begun.
For small companies, as we've just learned, the secret is getting in a niche and staying there. While other upscale retailers suffered, Julie Eckert's niche marketing is helping her increase sales. John Wargo, our marketing advisor, explains.
Yeah, I think that niche marketing is absolutely critical to small businesses because you can't serve the universe. You know, an example is Joe Fiel. They understood their market.
Now, who is Joe Fiel?
Joe Fiel is a boutique in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And what they do is they deal with upscale clothing for a higher end of the market.
For women or men?
For women.
Okay.
And they have found a niche in this particular market. And once they started to analyze their customer base, what they found out is what most businesses find out. 80% of their business was coming from 20% of their customers.
Wow.
So they had to figure out something here. Not everybody was their customer, but they did have customers in this upscale market who did have disposable income. What they needed to do was to get a bigger share of their spending, and so they did it. They developed a program called Joe Fiel Reward Points. Very, very creative for a small business person.
Frequent flyer.
Just like a frequent flyer. What they ended up doing is they started giving reward points to their best customers.
How do they communicate with those top customers?
Well, they communicate primarily through the mail. Once the customers come in, they obviously get a high level of service when they're in the store. But they also get a high level of service when they leave the store. And they get it through handwritten notes. They get it through mail. Some of these customers get up to 25 pieces of mail a year, which means that the owners and the clerks are talking to their best customers at least once every other week.
That's a lot.
They're in touch with them. It is a lot, and it looks like you're spending a lot of money. But when you turn around and look at what's happening, that money is coming back to you in increased purchases. And most small businesses don't want to take the time and the effort to do that kind of nurturing and that kind of niche marketing.
So as a marketing expert, you call this a communications plan, really?
It's a communication plan, it's a niche marketing plan, it is understanding your customers. It really is a customer relationship plan.
Remember Glenn's advice, stick to your niche and you can get rich. Come back, we'll see you next week.
Small Business School is made possible by support from IBM. We're not just for big business anymore. At our website, discover how technology can move your business forward. When it's your business, everything matters. IBM. And the United States Postal Service, delivering the promise to America's 23 million small and growing businesses. There's no wait at the post office in your own office. USPS.com is waiting for you.
If you want to learn more about starting, running, and growing a business, come to our website, smallbusinessschool.org. There's streaming video and interactive study guides. The only way we can compete with big business is to be faster, smarter, and better. We are the engine of the American economy. We create the jobs. Small business is about big commitment. It's about sacrifice and struggle. But we do it because we say, if I don't do this, my life won't be complete.